You are watching Access LaPorte County Channel 97. Coming up next is the October 10th meeting for the Long Beach Building Commission. You can find more information for this meeting by visiting www.accesslaportecounty.org.
We'll call the meeting to order. This is the regularly monthly meeting of the Long Beach Building Commission for October 10th. We'll call the meeting to order at 1:02. First order of business actually is to welcome our new member, Neil French, who is right here. This is Neil's first meeting.
Welcome, Neil.
Thank you.
I already sent Neil an encyclopedia of all the stuff he has to know.
Cool.
I still turned up.
You've got it memorized already, right?
Oh, for sure.
Okay, so we'll move on. Roll call. Honor,
Here.
Pete Byvotes is not. Neil,
Yes.
Bob Lemay,
Here.
Ellen,
Here.
Anita,
Present.
Joy,
Here.
Carter,
Here.
Larry. I think the problem here is I need to turn my sound off. Maybe that'll help.
Larry,
Okay.
do you have your laptop there too, or a screen? Yeah,
I-
maybe mute. Yeah.
Yeah, I just turned that off. Hopefully that is better. I don't hear, do you hear it? Still hear it?
You're good. You're
Okay.
good outside. There's no echo for us.
Okay, I think we're okay. Next up is the approval of the September regular meeting minutes.
I'll second.
Moved by Bob, second by Joy. Any discussion? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. We're good there.
Hey,
Uh,
Larry,
Commissioner-
before you go further, just so I can help, it's rare that I'm on this side of it. Just got to make sure Dr. LeMay turns on and speaks into his mic.
He's been duly chastised.
Really loud. I thought it was good.
Next up is the Commissioner's report for the month of September. We had 35 permits with construction costs of $972,924, which generated fees of $11,580. I don't know that you guys need me to go through the rest of this stuff, but it's pretty standard. Next up is old business. On the MS4 end, we're working on the year-end report. Coastal resiliency groups. A couple of things. We hosted the Great Lakes Coastal Program Board members from all of the Great Lakes member states at Stop 24. We've never done that before. Through a connection with the DNR, we did it, and they said it was one of the best presentations or visits that they've had, and they do it we do it here in Northwest Indiana, once every 8 years we get it here, but they do it every year. So that was a pretty good thing. And I think, Joy, you were pretty instrumental in that project down there. That's what they wanted to see because do you remember, they funded like 80% of that, I think, right? Yeah. So it was good for them to see a project that they had funded and, it still looks pretty good. So next up is, I sent some information out on the Purdue Capstone project. I didn't really realize how, I guess, lucky we were to be chosen for this. Maybe you do, Joy, know how there's companies like Lilly and whatever that get involved in these things. And yeah, and these students work the whole semester to try to come up with a solution for you. So I was pretty pleased. I was actually shocked when I got all the information back. And so I think that'll be good for the town. The next up is number 12, 2207 Chastleton. I hope to meet with them before the end of this month so we can get that resolved. Next up, 13, permit number 198. Since we compiled this list, that street cut permit actually was issued and they just did not upload it into the portal. Number 14, the Stop 31 signs. Chris and I discussed it, but we talked about a 10-day letter last meeting. And Chris can speak to this too. There is, as most of you know, some outstanding litigation. And Chris thinks the less we talk about it in public, the better we're going to be.
Yeah, let me just smooth that over a little bit. We usually don't discuss pending litigation. There's just some overlap, and I know there's strong feelings with regard to those signs, and anything that we're doing within the litigation, I'm mindful of the sign issues, and those will be addressed either within or without as we move along. So just want to make sure that everybody knows that's not lost in the shuffle, but we really otherwise don't discuss litigation outside of strategic type things.
Okay. Next up is 3106 Moore Road. That's a 10-day letter on the timbers at the street that is going out. So we should have an answer back and we'll just continue enforcement of that situation. The next is we talked about this last month, but we need to set a workshop date. I met with Pete, and Pete has the fence ordinance guidelines, I think, went out to everybody the last meeting. The front lot definition, and also the town council is looking for direction through, it would probably start here, and then I'm assuming it goes to the APC, and then it goes to you guys at the town council level. So we should set a workshop date. I'll send an email out probably after this meeting and just to query everybody about what's a good date for you. And then we can set a workshop up so that we can discuss these, whether or not, and I defer to Joy and Anita. I don't know how long these things usually take when you have those workshops. If it's a one-shot deal, can deal with all of these, or is it, we'd have to do them separate?
We can deal with them all at the same.
Okay. So I'll send an email out after the meeting and get everybody's dates. Next up is new business. Since we have some people here, I'd like to, unless you guys think differently, we'll try to get the people that are here so they don't have to sit. You do have to sit through the rest of the meeting. I know we've got line item 31 here. Gary, I think you're number 19. Which number? That's number 3288. Okay. Is everybody okay with moving those permits up? Okay. So let's go right to line item 19. That is permit number 167, 2028 Silvertip. I can
What's
pull
the permit number?
167, 2028 Silvertip. I'll pull that up so we can share screen.
Let's still look at. Where are you going? This is. Oh, this one again. I thought they were doing something. This. Turn trees down. Oh, shoot. I'm gonna have to bump you from that spot next time.
Oh, you consulted.
We don't have to spot today. Because, we're welcoming committees.
Okay, here we are. So this had come in actually back in May. And Gary and I had talked. I don't remember if we talked at this meeting. Anyway, just the circumstances of the permit were beyond what we could do at that point in time. So that Gary and the owner went and applied for and received a septic permit, which is what we were looking for. I don't know why this didn't show up.
Well, that's what I'm trying to find, that one. I didn't find 167. Where is it? Where is it, Joy? I can't find it in the iWorks.
Yeah.
Do an advanced search for 167,
There we go.
the number and time.
So there's the septic permit that was uploaded into the system. I can bring the drawings up.
Advanced search, then what? I did. Where do you type 167?
Popped up, no screen popped up.
Come on. Joy.
Screen.
Oh, that one. Oh, never, I know how to get. I got it.
Work on your iPad.
Is your site plan in the drawing set, Gary, or is it separate? It's a separate one?
Yeah, it's separate.
Okay. Oh, here it is.
It's the third
I
one
got it.
down.
I got it.
Where it is on the screen.
Okay, here's the two site plans. The one on the left is the existing, the one on the right is the proposed. What we're, pardon me, sorry. So on the west side of the property, which is here, is a 10-foot setback. On the east side of the property, you can see the 10-foot setback line. The building, I can't tell you, but it's beyond the 10-foot. So they're safe on the side setbacks. The front setback is 30 feet, which if you look at this red dotted area, that is the walkway to the front door. And the structure itself is beyond 30 feet. The rear yard is 20 feet. Or the required, pardon me, rear yard is 20 feet. To the house, there is 3212. There's a proposed deck here, which I don't know what that distance is, but 12 less 7. So it looks like that deck is 5 feet wide at the west side, which would reduce the existing yard to about 27 feet. So they still have met the requirements there. Next thing that we would look for is, I'll bring the drawings up. We would look for the height of the building. And I don't know if you can read that. So the height of the proposed structure is 32'11". Our allowable height is 33 feet. So from a zoning standpoint, it meets our requirements.
Lot coverage is good.
You know what? I'll bring that up. Where's that? On, at the bottom of the site plan, Gary? All right.
Yeah. 34.4.
Changes from the ridge line. Top changes from the ridge line.
34.4%. Does anybody have any questions about this one?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Bob, second. Ellen? Any discussion? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. We're all set? Yeah, at the end of the meeting, I'll get with you. I'm just kidding. Okay. Okay, next up is we want to pull up permit number 31, right? Oh, 30? Actually, I changed that to 31 because we added another one. So it's same as same. So I think on everybody's hard copy is, it says number 30.
Permit number 30?
No, permit number 296. And I'll just read the narrative that the Bohacks put on their permit. Replace existing concrete driveway with new concrete driveway, widened from 10 foot to 18 foot and run straight to the road. Replaced existing rotted wood steps with new steps, remove one oak tree, remove one Japanese maple, replace existing retaining walls with new stone, new landscaping in backyard and side of house. Install drainage system along the road to prevent washout of asphalt edge. I'll pull the stuff up here so you guys can see it online.
I'd stopped at 295.
Mary, what permit number is it?
296.
If you go to advanced search.
Wow, right.
I mean, close to it.
You guys may have missed it. I had asked Tom, I forgot your first name. Elena. I had asked Tom and Elena to put the actual side of the new driveway on the site plan. I don't know if you guys checked that, but they've got a street permit or street cut permit, and I will show you the,
It's not there. I don't know what to look at. Is there a category we could use for open permits to be considered by the commission? Because I went through everything that was on my thing and this wasn't there. And I like to get prepared for the meetings,
sure.
but if it's not there, I can't prepare for it.
You know what? I don't know. I guess the way I do it, Bob, and I'm not saying that that's the right way. I change my view when it says select view, you go to the permit
Right.
section, and then you can go down to open permits.
Right, that's what I did. And it's
But
not there.
unfortunately, what happens on open permits, it lists everything from waiting for payment, pending, and it will also list denied permits.
Can we set it up so it says open permits? scheduled for
I don't know if we can. I'm sure we probably can. We just have to get a hold of iWorks and find out if we can put another category on there that says pending, so you could hit only pending permits and not have to scroll down. Does that make sense?
Well, this one wasn't even there. Under open
Uh,
permits, it's not there. And that's really a problem.
Well, but I don't know.
I mean, now that you started giving us permit numbers, I haven't had any trouble getting in.
You go to the
just go to
advanced search and, yeah,
Yeah, search under permit number.
Right, but then you have to wait for the agenda to come out. And if you're doing it on Monday, it's
That's
not
true.
going to be there yet. So it'd really be good if we could just set up that other category.
We'll see if we can do that, Bob.
Okay.
Alternatively, Larry, if you can't, maybe you just as they come in, Honor can shoot everybody an email of noting when a permit number is assigned. I don't know if that's labor intensive or not, but that might be a simpler way.
Sure, we can look into it. So this is the site plan. The red line, the black line is the existing driveway. So the west side of that driveway, where my cursor is, where it says 52 with the arrow, that deck is no longer there. The Bohacks are working with the neighbor on an easement to be able to put rebuild the deck, but that's not up for discussion today. What we're here to is about everything on here is landscaping or remove and replace existing, except for the driveway, which is going to increase in size. And you can see that line here. I can give you the lot coverage calculations. Hold on. I don't know why it's not coming up.
Yeah, 34.9 lot coverage.
34.9.
Okay, here it is.
35,
Can't hear you.
the limit's 35%.
Yeah, we can have 35.
Here's the lot coverage calculations, 34.9. And as you all know, we allow 35%. So it meets with all of our requirements.
I would move to approve.
Joy, seconded by Bob. Any discussion? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. You're all set, Elena? Yes, yes. Right, Tom had said I've talked to him several times. The neighbor, Colleen was not around, so was gone. You guys are going to get together with her. And when that happens, as Tom and I talked, you just have to have whoever, your attorney, her attorney, whatever, write something up, and then you can come back here, and then you bet. Thanks.
Larry, I hate to be Zoom enforcement, but if anybody else speaks that's not one of you at the table, will you make sure they go to the microphone so everybody can hear them?
Sorry.
Thank you, Chris. I got in trouble last month for being the mic police, so I appreciate it.
You've been in trouble. You've been in
Believe me,
trouble
I'm
last month.
shrugging, but I don't want to be in trouble. It's either Meg or Larry. So
Next up is 288.
Just got added today. it's,
Yeah, it came in prior. It just was left off. So I add, this is to add artificial turf to the backyard. Oh, you know what? I see what you're talking about. It was a zip file.
oh yeah, I couldn't open it.
I don't know why this isn't up there. Hold on.
It's my end.
It does.
Yeah, there's a couple of,
There we go. So with the addition of the artificial turf would be 18.7 coverage. Let's look
I
and
would
see.
move to approve.
I would second.
Hold on, you're ahead of me now. Was that Joy that? So Joy, and Anita, second, any other discussion? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All set. What are you here for?
Yeah. We don't have anything for Heitman's 1528. No, the lands or the patio and everything that was approved. And the windows were approved 2 months ago.
No, you're supposed to be talking.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry.
Is the green light on?
So tell us who you are.
Jordan, that's JC Builders. All around fencing. And I have it away.
Yeah, hold on, let's bring that up.
We got a permit number?
Yeah, I have, what is it?
250.
That's on here. I just have to find it. Okay.
Just looking up the papers. That way, on the same spot.
That's what we talked about yesterday.
What number is it on her?
250. That's number 23 on the agenda.
Lot coverage,
Okay.
Setbacks all look good as far as I can tell.
So the lot coverage
32%.
is 32%. Okay, here we go. This is the site plan. So is this yellow area?
Or, that back doesn't even exist, there's just pavers in that back, just corner of the house there, 20 by 16. And, just took up the pavers, which put a deck right down in that corner.
So
Yes,
why don't you go up to the screen and tell us where the deck is?
right off the corner of the house, north, and then, west. to the east.
Okay, so what I'm seeing on this, then that would be 20 foot, 1 inch, or 20.1 foot. No, what I'm talking about is, so the setback, and that was the problem that we had. There, we don't really have an accurate drawing of what you're trying to do. So from what you're saying to us is, you're going to put the deck from this corner, you're going to come out to the corner of the house here. So that setback in the rear is 20 foot is required. What's there is 20.1 foot to the house. That's what this line means here, even though there's no line or no dimension line. So that meets with our requirements. But the problem we were having was for the last 3 months or whatever time frame it was, there hasn't been an accurate drawing that coincided with this. So,
Plan deck. Yeah, I would suggest then that we just simply ask for a site plan showing the new deck so that we have a record of what we approved.
okay. Any other is there a motion to approve?
So moved,
Bob,
with the caveat that we get a site plan.
Second.
Joy, second by Joy. So what we have here is a motion to approve, subject to receiving. What you need to do is you need to take this site plan and put where the deck is going to go and show the dimensions from the lot lines to the deck. All right?
Did you
Hold
want
on, hold
to
on.
put, oh,
Larry, there are some additional drawings showing the new deck.
I'm sorry,
There,
Neil.
there are some additional drawings showing the new deck.
No, that's
the-
what we're gonna get.
Right, that's what we want. We want to have
Well,
a site plan that's correct.
they're in the pack though. I see them.
He can, he says he can see.
Yeah,
Where?
they're in there.
Right. That's the problem. So
Hot tub,
there were
retaining
about
wall.
3 or 4 different site plans that came in, and they went from, it said it was 13 foot 6 from the lot line to 20 foot. And then I think there was another dimension. And then this one shows where that yellow box is, it shows that it's about 10, 12 feet or 12 to 13 feet from the lot line. So the motion before us right now is to approve this
Yeah, when I
with the
scroll-
caveat that we get an accurate site plan that shows where the new deck is going to go.
did you want to put a timeline on that? Because otherwise we tend to I shouldn't say we tend to, but sometimes things get lost and then contractors start work and then Carter, yeah, I mean, it just seems that that's always been an issue where we say caveat, but we need something and then we don't get it. Somebody starts work and we don't have the paperwork.
So we won't issue the permit and you can't start until that comes in. Right,
Shoot in the portal.
Yeah, and then
right. It has to be uploaded. It can't be, what happens a lot of times is, so when I talk to people or people talk to me, or they'll talk to Carter, or they'll talk to Honor, they'll email Honor the stuff. And what I explain to everybody, in particular, you can look, I'll show you what's happened here. You guys may recall this and actually may have been irritated by it because you've gotten so many emails. These notes to contractor, those are, we do those through the system so that everything from soup to nuts is all on the system that anybody can see. So everything to do with permits, and I know we've started this in January, but it's still, everybody's not all tuned in, that all the stuff has to go through the portal. It can't just come to emails to Carter or Honor or, the town clerk or whatever. So I think we're good there. So that's the motion. Any other discussion? All those in favor, aye.
I,
Opposed, same sign. You here for something else, you said?
what's the permit number?
Yes. It's number 20.
Number 20.
Permit number 240.
Oh, 2701, make sure you're at.
Okay. 240.
So permit number 20,
permit number 240.
240. Okay.
While I'm trying to pull this up, I'll explain what this is. This is an existing home and it had a deck on the front of it and a ramp. Previous owners had someone who was handicapped that needed access to the house and they built a ramp. That ramp nor the deck was permitted. So it was just built. I'm going to suggest it's been at least 15 or 20 years ago, maybe even more than that. Oh, this says Munch and Sons Construction. Okay, well,
Then, so what's
what's the address that you're talking about?
2727, we should drive.
I don't even have a permit in here for 2727 Lake Shore Drive. When did you put it in? There's nothing in here. No.
what's the name of the homeowner, sorry?
Well, the address isn't in here, so,
270.
all right. All right, thanks.
Everything's been hidden. I don't know if she's on spot with anything, I changed something. Everything's getting better and better, so thank you. everyone.
Don't get too happy.
I'm still seeing it.
Okay. Tom, you're here for,
This agenda, but I saw on the original agenda. Sorry, we just did him.
Here, we did him.
2932.
We did.
oh,
He's just
Yeah.
hanging around.
Yeah.
He's a groupie.
I didn't mark these properly. You guys, if I bring up something twice, you're gonna have to tell me here. We did that one. Northmore, we did. Connie, what are you here for? Oh, okay. Hmm?
The bee protection wasn't.
Oh, okay. All right.
We could talk about porta potties.
Yeah, I just want to make sure I'm marking these off. Oh. Actually, it's on here. You know, as long as I started and I have this one up about 2701,
Which permit number?
that is number 240. It will save me from having to go back. 240.
Yeah, I think this is one that didn't even need to come necessarily to us. They're putting it on a listing,
Yeah, so
right?
let's see if I can get this up here and show you. I'm sure you've all been by the house 100 times. Okay, so this is Lakeshore Drive on the right side of the paper here. This is Floral Trail on the top. This deck is 16 feet wide, deep, I should say 18 feet wide. And this catwalk goes from probably 4 feet to maybe 5 at the front. The setback from on the west property line to the house and the catwalk or ramp is 5 feet. The required setback is 15. So what they want to do is they no longer rotted. This ramp has actually failed. So what they want to do is they want to take the whole thing down and they want to rebuild it in the same spot. Yes, but and the only reason that we didn't approve it as a repair and replace is because it was never permitted before, and I want to make sure that everybody understood that it's not compliant. It wasn't permitted, but what they want to do is put it back on the same footprint.
And at some point in the past, somebody got away with it, but the town didn't.
Not
catch
in this town,
it. We didn't catch it. So I don't know how you built it originally.
right? It wasn't. The current owner was not the person that did it. I mean, I actually know the people that did it, and they have a handicapped son, so.
Maybe that'd have been okay anyway.
So we just have to decide what we want to do.
Move to approve.
I'll second.
Okay. Bob, second by Joy. Any other discussion? All those in favor, aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Okay. All right, I think we're back to our standard deal here.
Hey, Larry, you might have some on Zoom that might be representatives of some that are pending.
Oh, all right. Yeah, you're right, Chris. Is anybody on Zoom here for a permit?
I saw Dan Healy on that left rectangle. Dan, you still there? Hey, Dan,
Okay.
what did you want to talk about? I don't know.
I don't know sign language, Dan. You got to.
Can you unmute yourself?
I don't think I can do it, can I?
Right. Hi, this is Michelle Vincier. Are you talking to Dan Healy? Is he on the call?
Yeah. Hi, Michelle.
Hi there. He's, and I'm sorry, I don't know the number. He's probably inquiring about our property, 2131 Avondale.
Yep. It's on here.
Thank you.
All right.
Permit 291.
Okay. I'll bring it up. This is, 29. This is for, 2131 Avondale. I'll pull the drawings up so you can see what's going on here. It's a very large lot. The coverages are on here. Why can't you see this? Okay, should be able to see it here. It's a very large lot. This is Avondale out here. This is up a significant dune in the back. The property rises up, as I mentioned to you guys before. These topo lines are 1 foot apart. Each 1 foot is either a rise or fall in the land. So this is existing. What?
Oh, no, we're like, that's steep.
Yeah, it is steep. So this is an existing, well, everything's existing. There's gravel, some synthetic turf. There's some pavers back here. There's a little putting green area. And the proposed situation here is to basically just clean this entire area up. There's a lot of different things back there. So what they want to do is build a deck here and install pavers here. You can see there's a fire pit. This shed is not part of this permit, but it's drawn on here just to show what they want to do in the future. The lot coverages are, here's a close-up of what they want to do. I know John's got the lot coverages on here. Proposed existing coverage is 17.6. The proposed coverage is 18.2%. That's obviously well within, there is no height restriction because there's everything is ground level. So there would be nothing that would, we'd have to look at for that. So I'm going to recuse myself from this because the owners had talked to me about possibly doing some work for them. So I'm going to recuse myself. I'm not doing work for them, but if I were to do work for them, I would have, I just want to make sure that we're straight here. So I can ask any or answer any questions, but I would not be able to vote.
Joy, do you want to remind Honor that we need to make clear in the minutes for the auditors?
Yep.
Thank you, Honor.
So somebody else has to, Bob's going to take over here.
I guess question I have for you, Larry, is there any fencing around the hot tub?
No, this wall, you see this, can you see my mouse there? Where it's running on the wall?
No.
See that where it says hot tub?
Yeah.
And then these are plantings here, then this is a retaining wall that goes all the way down the side of the property. That retaining wall is probably 8 to 12 feet high. We don't require by ordinance, we do not require a fence around a hot tub. Mainly, I don't think that the ordinances were ever looked at as far as hot tubs. And most hot tubs have all hot tubs have a top
and they're lockable. So if we wanted a fence around a hot tub, I think we would probably have to change the ordinance.
Okay.
What about the pavers that are going to be, I know we're not including the shed, but the pavers go into the setback there in the corner by the shed.
Couple of feet.
Oh, on this, where the shed is,
Yeah,
the 10 feet? This corner right here,
yeah.
that's existing. There's a, if I go back up to the, I'll show you what's happening there. If you go back up to here, this is a gravel area here now. It actually extends all the way down. See where my,
Okay.
this is plantings. This is the outside of the retaining wall. So there's plantings and things here, but this is all turf and gravel. They're actually reducing the size of that area. But it does extend right where it says gate right here. That's the 10-foot line, and you're correct, Joy.
Okay.
That line is right here. It's not new coverage in that area. They're actually reducing the coverage in that area.
So I know we're not considering the shed, but is the anticipated shed within the setback?
No,
Okay.
I would move to approve.
Is there a second? Second. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, it passed. No.
okay.
Ellen second one.
You know, Connie's.
Dan, we're looking at Dan's ear here.
Thanks for your time.
All right, Dan and Michelle, you're all set?
Thank you, everyone, for your review.
Okay.
Ellen Lynch might have a way for you to change the color of your mouse.
You did afterward.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would have to have my granddaughter here to do that. She's 10.
Ellen.
Yeah, I might be able to do it. I can do a few.
Is this lady, this lady have something?
Okay. Hi, Amy. What are you here? Oh, you guys are here for the greenhouse. All right.
Oh, the greenhouse at,
Let's see.
Yellow Bear?
Yes, that is. That's permit number 257, 2520 Shorewood. I'll pull that up.
so these folks, at the same time that they're asking us to consider the permit, appeared at the BZA. And so Wednesday night, the BZA considered it and basically decided that we gave them a variance. There's two different sections that involved. We decided to give them a variance for both, just so that the building commission would not come up with any other. So, we basically wanted to kind of grease the wheels because there's no reason for them not to be able to build it. The ordinances are a little bit confusing, and maybe that's something that the building commission or the town council should consider, maybe the APC consider, just because there is some.
I think we
So-
do need to address it, but I will say that the BZA did consider all of the ordinances, including the one you cited.
Okay. So what we sent out, we did not get anything. When I say we, Honor, Carter and I, we meet usually the Monday before the meeting. We go through every permit and we look at them and we decide whether there's additional information needed. Is it going to be okay? That's why when we come to everybody here, it usually says, these are what the problems are in the permit. These permits are approvable. So when we went through this permit, the first thing we noticed was that the greenhouse is in the front yard. And the ordinance, and specifically ordinance 154052, section A, prohibits an accessory structure in the front yard. So that's what we put on the agenda. And then I think it was yesterday morning or Thursday, we got a notice from Meg that this went to the BZA, and the BZA gave a variance for this, specifically for ordinance 154.051. And I think it was A and B.
B and E, I
Or
think. but-
B and E, that the BZA gave a variance for. So when that came out yesterday, did I send it to everybody or did I? Okay, so when that came out yesterday, I sent it off again and I included a copy of the ordinance. So that's what's before us. So Bob and Joy have said that the BZA considered even this ordinance, but it was not specifically, a variance was not specifically given for the ordinance 154.052A.
This is Chris, just to fill in a little bit more. By definition, from the BZA standpoint, granting under 154.051B permits that greenhouse in the alternative to be built where as asked for and presented. So it's granting without citing 052, and the BZA can clean up those findings and decisions. Alternatively, some time ago, the BZA also made a determination that that greenhouse could fall under 154.051E, which says any other, I'm paraphrasing, but any other structure that the BZA deems a residential use. And they did that also. So was a variance needed at all, whether it fell under B or E. So yeah, Larry, and I get what your point is because even though we're not in precedent, we have other requests, we will get other requests, but I definitely want to represent to the building committee, the BZA did consider all these alternatives. In my opinion and advice is whatever decision you make, I believe that the BZA has authorized you to then consider it as long as they're in compliance otherwise with the request and the application that's before.
So does that make sense to everybody? These are the drawings that we have for the project. Hold on and I'll zoom out. So this is the entire Captain's Walk Peninsula. This is the house that's being built. This is the greenhouse, this section right here. I can zoom up to it. Pardon me?
It's inside of the house.
No, the house stops here. This is a driveway area. So the house stops here. So it's in the front yard of the house. Right. And while we were discussing this, the sports courts as well are in the front of the house. They were not on the original drawing. So that will have to be dealt with at some point as well.
I'm sorry, Larry, what else is in the front yard?
The sports courts.
Mr. Larry, well, I just wanted to comment that the sport court was.
Hold on, Amy. You have to tell us who you are.
I apologize. My name is Amy Vandestreek. I'm the project architect on the 2520 Shorewood greenhouse. And I am pretty confident that the sport courts are included on the permit set that was submitted in July of 2023.
That's not before us right now anyway. So the greenhouse is.
Correct.
So does everybody understand what they're asking for and what
happened in this past week. Okay,
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
motion by Bob, second by Joy. Any discussion? All those in favor, aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Okay,
Larry, I just want to say thank you for following up on that. I can see where, people should come to the building commission first. So I appreciate that you noticed that when you were going through things. Things slip by. So it's just a compliment to you and your team that you picked up on that and just wanted to be sure that it was correct and that Chris weighed in and Bob weighed in, and thank you.
sure.
Larry, can I?
Go ahead.
Sorry, I just want to add to that because I agree, and this is a good example, and not to extend the meeting, but again, as I've said it, all the meetings that apply and all the bodies, as the plan commission is considering the comprehensive plan and redoing, which is leading to some reviewing of ordinances and making sure things reconcile and reflect current day Long Beach. This is another example, and it's a good. Now, I will say that we did have discussion back in July also at the BZA level about the applicability and when that would not apply. So I'm confident again that it was covered, but yours is a good example where, in the future, when things come before the BZA and in bigger towns, Larry, you and I talk about this, there's paid staff and there are people who are paying attention, and everybody else there, you guys are volunteers, right? But it may behoove the town to seek out input and reports or feedback from building commissioner and the police department and the fire department, not on a case by case basis, but each of them, right? Because one more example, so that, Larry, as you and I talk about frequently, we mentioned before the BZA, you're only getting what you ask for. And if something falls through or you decided to skip, you do so at your own risk, right? So, and yet we still try to help out. And here's another good example where everybody has pooled resources. So long-winded way of saying I agree with Anita, Larry, in terms of your due diligence on that. But, hopefully there's ways that we can put the onus on those that have the burden of it, and then to enable you guys to, review it without having to belabor or drag things out further.
Thanks, Chris. And I want to make sure that everybody here understands you don't have to come to the building commission before you go to the BZA. It's just been a general course of how it's usually easier to do that. And the reason is for situations just like this, had the petitioners at the BZA and applied for the permit, had they come to the building commission first, we would have looked at it and said, okay, this is why you can't do this. Then normally people will take that and go to the BZA. So this one happened to work out. Sometimes they don't work out. And then it turns into, as you all know, it can turn into a 3-4. And usually it's the building commission that takes the brunt of, you guys are bad because you don't tell us stuff. Well, when you don't ask, it's hard to not tell. So, okay, I think.
Yeah, Larry, and to that point also, you usually give them the specifics of what they need, right? So then we don't have the shotgun approach of you might not need a variance, you might fit under this one or this one, and then to add on to the difficulty of this is the ambiguity of the code, right? But and they're not required, and this isn't piling on Yellow Bear, this is just in general. It helps if they come before the building commission and have something pending and then a variance is needed, because you can give them the specifics of building commission would consider this if you get this variance versus 7 variances in the alternative.
Thanks, Chris.
I would just like to, this is Amy again. I just wanted to thank the building commission for, and I guess I would compliment you as well on your consideration of some of these ambiguities. And I just wanted to say that we had intended to present at the building commission before doing the public hearing, but the meetings got swapped somehow, and so we ended up going to the ZBA twice before we were able to come to you. So regardless, we're grateful for your thorough review, and just want to thank you for your time.
Okay, thanks.
And,
Amy.
and Larry, and just to support Amy's spot, yeah, it happened, there happened to be a quorum issue. So that she is correct in that it added that they had an alternative with the initial decision by the BZA that it might not be needed. And again, our point of people coming before isn't necessarily any kind of indictment, but yeah, this one just everything lined up to make it as difficult as possible for.
Thanks, Chris. Okay, so now we're back to, we'll try to do this in order. So we're at number 17, right under new business. Joy had sent out some information on a portable toilet, not
Yeah.
toy ordinance. So
We received comments from everyone except for Pete and Bob. So we're ready to go unless they have any comments.
Nope. Look good to me.
Okay, then I would make a motion that we send the ordinance on to the town council
Is
with
there
a
a second?
favorable recommendation.
okay, any other discussion? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. We're good there. Next up is 2207 Flormont Trail.
Permit number?
Oh, gosh, honor. It's a permit from the old system.
2319.
So I'll give you a little background on this. It's not in our system, Bob. It was from before we started. So this project, some of you may remember, Frank Meyer and Greg Deutscher came in. They were going to renovate the house. We gave them a permit. They had gone to the BZA previously and gotten a permit to put an elevator in a setback on the front corner of the house. So then they came in and they got the permit. We approved the permit, and I can't remember the exact time frame because it's 2 years ago. Then the owner said, "Oh, well, I want to change contractors." So then he changed contractors, and that contractor did the demolition, and then there were some problems there with that contractor. So he came back and brought somebody else in. So I guess that's a long way of saying the project never started for a long time after the first permit was issued. So the permit holder, the owner, has come back to us, and when we issued the permit, the hard card, we gave them through May of 2026. But Pete brought up the point that permits by our ordinances can only be good for a year. I think that needs to be discussed at our level and maybe put to the APC. Ever since COVID, and I'm speaking not necessarily as a building commissioner, but as a builder, ever since COVID, all of the lead times for materials stretched out we used to get windows in 3 to 5 weeks. COVID, it was 26 weeks. They haven't gotten back to 3 to 5, but they've come down to maybe 5 to 10 weeks, sometimes 12. So what's happened is our ordinance that says a project should be done or permits only valid for 1 year really needs to be addressed, because some of these projects that are large in scope, it's really impossible to do a job in a year sometimes. So Pete's point's well taken that the permits are only good for a year. So I think what we need to do is decide on this, that it's okay that we put on that permit 2026 or May of 2026. So that's really what's before us. Anybody have any thoughts on that?
That business about it being a year, where does that appear? Is that in our ordinances?
Yes, it's actually in the state code too.
So if we changed it, we'd be different than,
Bob, can you talk into your microphone?
so if we changed it, we'd be different than the state code.
I'm going to say yes, but I would want to do the exact research on that and before we went to our zoning and changed it. I don't know, and I guess I would have to ask Chris. I don't know if our building commission body has the authority to say, okay, if permits are only good for a year and you tell me that it's going to take 18 months to do this project, we're going to give you 18 months, or do we have to say, hey, you have to come back to us in a year and get an extension?
So, Larry, the permit I just submitted, there's a box for a completion date. So you can put more than a year on that, right?
When you mean what you say?
Yeah, when you submit a permit now in that new system, you've got an end date for the construction period, so you can put that 2 years.
Right. We've accepted that.
Yeah.
Of late, but Pete brought up the point, which is true. Permit's good for a year. You can get an extension free for 4 months, maybe. And I probably should even say exactly. And then after that, you're supposed to come back to us and you have to pay 50% of what your original permit cost is if you go over that.
Wow.
Let's call it 18 months.
Yeah.
And, this is my opinion only. I don't think that's reasonable in today's building environment.
Yeah, I'd agree. I mean, particularly with COVID and what happened. Yeah.
Well, yeah, Larry, just to add to that, it doesn't really matter what anybody puts for their term of what they think it's going to take, but I think there's probably your suggestion of making sure we reconcile with the code as it is, but I think we can make it easier to say, that the building commission has the authority to continue it. First of all, maybe change the start date too from when construction actually starts, if they're waiting and right there early and get their permit. Number one. And two, that, it can be renewed is provided the building commission has decided that there's sufficient progress, right? So, and then maybe put an outside deadline on that because you don't want something going for 5 years either. So I think all of your points are well taken. I mean, that has come up, and I think as Neil just mentioned, the contractors have been talking about that before COVID and definitely during and since, for sure.
So what's before us is to ostensibly agree with what they told us originally, and we're going to give them an extension without going back and saying, hey, you have to pay 50% again. Is that a fair assessment, Chris?
Repeat that, please. I'm sorry.
What's before us is we are going to say that you have over that year period that we've already put on the permit, but we're ostensibly saying you don't have to come back and pay us a 50% charge from your original permit.
And and this part I don't know, sorry. Are you saying in general to change the code, or is that for a pending agenda item?
No, just specific to this permit.
I gotcha. I think that we need to update that code. It'd be hard. You don't really have leeway under the code as it's written. It says that they shall, right? So let's talk about what that hardship is and why that's before you.
Okay. Well, I mean, I don't know, maybe we shouldn't vote on this. Maybe we need to have the discussion, and then maybe it has to go to the APC. That's why I just want to make sure that we're all aware of what we're talking about. And I don't want to do something that somebody's going to come back on us in 6 months or a year and say, hey, you should have done this.
Yeah, meanwhile, these folks want to get going with their project.
Oh, they're working every day again now.
They're already working, and they're still within the permit.
Permit says May of 26.
So they're still good.
I don't know if they're still within the I'm saying that I mean, they've had huge lapses of time, a month, 6 weeks, but the last few weeks they have been
I did.
going ahead. And Carter, I think they were going to call you to look at an
I did.
inspection for
I
the
did.
trough for the tunnel.
You did, okay. You know, and that's the other consideration is if we
Right.
extend this period of time for everybody, that's going to mean that our building inspector is going to be looking at more and more projects that are ongoing because these projects may be going on for 2-3 years and that costs the town money. So maybe the town does deserve to be compensated for that.
I think theirs was not exactly supplies. They had a lot of other issues
Yeah,
with different contractors.
Well, and that's not the
So-
town's fault.
No, it's not. It's not the town's fault.
Yeah.
I think another concern would be whether they're then changing plans or doing different things because of the slowdown. And, I mean, and again, that's on Carter. And I know they did ask me one time, do we need him to come by? And of course, I always say, yes, you need Carter to come by and look. But they are working now pretty steadily, finally, on the project.
Well, and as Larry often says, with us, everything's black and white. So if the ordinance says this permit's good for a year and then they can ask for a free extension for 6 months and then they get charged, that's kind of what we need to go with until somebody decides to change that.
Okay.
Are they within the permit there still right now? Do you know that, Larry?
I thought May didn't. grant
We
that?
had said May of 26 on the written permit, but when we did that, do you have that? When did we give them the permit? I don't remember. Is it?
To extend it to 26?
Yeah.
I
Do you
thought
remember the
May.
date? Did you send me a copy of that permit? All right, let me look for it. Hopefully I'll be able to tell you here in a second.
I thought in May we gave them a 4-month extension or something, because I actually mentioned it to Randy that he needed to look into that.
And there is, while I'm looking for this, there is a provision in the code that if a job is dormant, and I think this speaks to Chris's point, if a job is dormant for a period of time, your permits becomes void. And that's, I think, what Chris was referring to. You don't want to have a blight where, and we do have some here, and some in very prominent areas where work was started and it wasn't.
Right, so what constitutes dormant? I mean, that's the other thing. What period of time is dormant? I mean, that project it was, what do you call
So
it?
I think in the interest of, I think we should leave it as is if they're still within their permit period. And so let's decide, because we have some other things that are coming up, that if there's a recommendation to the APC and we're updating some of these codes, that maybe we moot this matter out, right? So that
Okay.
they're not going to be in violation, and let's just be mindful of them. So we won't put them out of compliance, but as long as they're in compliance, in my opinion, we're really not going to give them the resolution they want today, but they are subject to what's already being considered in this discussion. This is just another example of why it should be considered, right? Because there are valid reasons why there are delays or lapses.
Right. So the actual permit has been 2 years. It would be 2 years where it's expired. I just put it on the screen. So I think it's probably a good idea to do what Chris said. We'll just push this off, table it, or whatever you call. What's the official word, Joy?
Push it off.
Okay. All right. We did 2028 Silvertip, 2311 Florimond. I'm going to pull this up. This has been a problem.
What permit number are we talking?
167.
172.
172.
This is 4 months. We've been trying to get information. Let's look at the last note and see what I said. We've been trying to get a site plan that's accurate and that shows the location of the shed, the distance. They're converting a garage into some living space, which would be approvable. The shed is an addition, obviously, to the property. It increases the footprint. So we need, and not historically, it's just by rule, we need to have a survey that shows, or a site plan that shows where is the shed going to go and where is it in relation to the property lines. We have been trying since June 4th to get that information. So I think they just sent something in the last day or two. So let's see if that's it. Their lot coverage is 18.7%, so that they meet that. The problem is I don't know if they meet the setbacks for the shed and the shed for size as well.
I'll look up the correspondence too. Did they say where they want to put the shed? I mean, I know where their garage is. The side of the garage faces Florimond, but the front of the garage. Yeah, there it is. I don't know where they'd put the shed.
I don't see a shed on the site plan.
That's been the problem the whole time,
Right.
is getting a site plan with the shed on it. And this is the last thing I have, unless we got something by email today. And that's another issue. You know, we are constantly telling people, everything you send us has to be, so the shed is not on here.
I don't know where they'd put it.
The other
But-
question I'd have is
What's
this
that
room they
green
want to
there?
put above the garage, is it going to be a bedroom? And if so, does it have closets? And is it going to require a bigger septic system?
There's the shed. Yeah, we have some drawings for a shed, but we don't have a site plan that shows the shed. This shows partial construction. What is the,
Oh.
Larry, I was just clicking through all these files. There's one that does show new storage shed.
you found one?
Yeah, it's behind the existing garage. It's labeled new
Space there.
storage shed, so that's number.
Is it on the portal, Neil?
Yeah, it's one of those files. Let's see. I was just clicking through at random and found it. It was about halfway down that list.
I mean, they're right up next to they put up a fence right up next to the neighbor's driveway, but
Yeah.
doesn't
So
mean,
it's the file number Stanton AD 101. You see that one? About halfway down the list.
Oh, okay, I see it.
Which one is it, Neil?
Stanton AD 101, 43025. Kind of halfway down the list there.
Hold on, I've got to close out of some of these things so I can get to it.
It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's the 7th file from the top. So it doesn't show the setbacks or anything, but it shows the existing garage.
The survey, you can't see any
No.
setbacks or anything.
Yeah, it just shows it next to the garage.
Which one are you on, Neil?
Yeah, the seventh file down, 2, 3, 7, yeah, seventh file. ED 101.
Okay.
And then you scroll to the right a little bit, you see the storage shed.
Okay, right. And that's the problem.
Okay,
We hit,
yeah.
we have asked in 8 emails, 8 notes to
Oh.
the contractor.
Yeah.
We need to have that on the site plan. So here's the site plan. And it's simply a matter of putting it on the site plan so that we can see where it is in relative to the rear, or the property lines.
It should be easier to do that, yeah.
I would suggest that we take this off the agenda until we get what we're asking for, because we've probably spent an hour looking at this over the last months. And, you know, we're volunteers. This is crazy.
Okay.
Well, that's a good idea too.
We can do that. The owner really has just become involved in the last week. Finally responded to,
I don't think it's my responsibility to say to her,
no,
What's
but the
going on,
owner, I guess
Lori?
what I will say is most of the time, this has been back and forth between the contractor, that's the person that applied for the permit. But also when I email, or when we email to you guys and
Oh, you
we
do?
email to the
Okay.
owner.
so she
So
knows.
on Monday
Or he
or
knows.
Tuesday of this week, the owner sent a survey in.
I saw
And
that.
I said, okay, thanks for sending this in, but we need to have the shed on the survey in to the lot lines. I also gave them the parameters of a shed can only be 1% of lot coverage, which is the lot is 8,712 square feet. So you can have an 87 square foot shed. And I think the shed that they're contemplating is bigger than that. Do you still have that up, Neil?
Yeah, it looks like it's 120.
Right. So the shed by size wouldn't make it. And if,
That's the problem, isn't it?
I was glad to see in the email, yeah, that she replied or sent something and that she was included.
yeah. All right. Well, I'll do whatever you guys want. I can go back to them again and just say, hey, this is what we need.
Well, you know, I think we could point out to them that the shed's too big, 87 feet's the
Yeah,
maximum.
I included that in the note that I sent to them, that the shed had to be within 1% of the lot.
And did we figure out what they're planning on doing with the space above the garage?
It's actually, it's a single floor. And I didn't look, I can't recall. I've looked at the drawings. I can't recall what they're doing with it.
Is it maybe a bedroom that might require a bigger?
If it
septic
is,
system?
then it would have to go to the septic system situation. All right, I'll give them one more shot if that's what you guys want to do. Okay,
Reach out to them.
yeah. 173 is the same situation. This one's really not. The person that applied, or the contractor that applied for the permit used the drawings. It's the same contractor as the 172 permit that we just talked about. And they uploaded the drawings for the 172 permit to the 173 permit. And we've sent several notes to them saying that it's not the correct information. So same thing, we'll just hold that one. 22 and 23, we already did. 24, we already did. 25, that street cut permit, there was been a little bit of a logistics issue. When people get street cut permits, they come in and they pick up that sheet
They usually deal with Deanna in the office, and Deanna, when it's done, because she goes out to Chief Swistek, Tom Dolph. I can't remember. I don't know if you have to sign them too, Joy. So anyway, she gets those and then she lets the people know. And when Deanna gives them the permit, she explains to them, you have to upload this. Well, a couple of them didn't get uploaded, and one of them, we were going to issue a stop work order because the work was done. And what we found out was that the street cut permit was done and it was done timely, but they never uploaded it. So that's again, another learning curve situation. So 25, there's really nothing for us to do here. 26 is a solar project.
That's 160, 161, is it?
It is 267.
Oh, yeah, okay, I can't read my own writing.
I don't know if you guys recall when Ken was part of the building commission, when a solar situation came up, we do have a solar ordinance. It's not really it's not a big ordinance or a very involved ordinance. Ken was working on some things and then he came back to us and said, you know, nobody's going to do this because the state of Indiana doesn't allow, is it buyback or whatever, is so low that it doesn't make it pay. So this is the first one we've had since then.
It's 154.082.
So I don't know what we want to do here. Bob's got the ordinance up.
Yeah, I looked at this and a couple of things is one, that they're supposed to do whatever they can to minimize glare. This is on Lakeshore Drive. So the question is there going to be glare onto Lakeshore Drive? Also, there's a limit as to how tall it can be. So we need to check on that. They say in here, minimize bad aesthetics, but I don't know what that means. And it's supposed to have the same pitch as the roof. And I couldn't tell from these technical plans as to what the hell was going on.
It's, you know, I'm not an electrical engineer by any stretch of the imagination, but the same thing. The concern that I had and I had originally when we first talked about it, and I sent this to the fire department. And on the drawings, there's what they call them fire department margins. And that is what they presented on this permit is to the National Electric Code or whatever. But the fire department does not consider that. We would have to make our ordinance more strict. And I can pull this up just so I can explain this to you a little better, maybe. Not significantly. This house is it's just east or just east of Stop 18 on the hillside. It's a ranch with a basement, you know, a walkout. This doesn't exceed our height ordinance.
What could they give
This
us?
is kind of no man's land, I think, for the town. We just don't understand it. And
Maybe we need.
I shouldn't say I don't understand solar. There's a lot of things that, so, you know, if you have a fire in your house and you have solar panels, even if the electric's turned off, does the solar still send power? Does the battery still send power so that somebody's going to get electrocuted? We don't know that. And I'm not savvy enough to tell you that it is or it is not.
Well, maybe we should ask them to give us a either an artist's rendition or a photograph showing us where this is going to be, how it relates to the pitch of the roof. Is there going to be glare onto Lakeshore Drive from these solar panels? I mean, because like, I think we're all kind of in the dark as to this. They need to educate us if they want to build it.
So here's Lakeshore Drive. This is the house right here. So it's on, you can see the array is the purple sections here. Let me see if I can move this over. Or at least build this up. So you can see that. So the array here of the purple or blue would be here. I can zoom that up. Would be on this side of the house. That looks like it might be a skylight.
Is that on the east side or the west side?
That's the west side of the house.
Okay.
I'll show you what the margins mean. Here's the panels. So this is the pitch of the roof right here.
Mm-hmm.
And this purple or blue is the pitch of the panel itself.
Yep.
And it says they're adjustable.
You're saying it could adjust to maybe having a higher pitch than the roof?
Well, it shows them, I'll go back up to this. It shows that the panels are actually a higher pitch than the roof, not
Okay.
by much, but
Yeah, our ordinance says that's not allowed.
so this is it's shown as flat. And this panel is fixed here. This looks like it must be a pivot here. And then this is an adjustment so that panel can be up or down. Does that make sense? I know the margins are in here. I just don't recall where and I'll find. You see, stop me. All right. Here they are. So this, all the shaded area is what they're calling a, by code, a 36-inch fire pathway. So the way these are, this would be the east side of the house. This would be the north side of the house. This would be south, I'm sorry, west over here on the left. So this is 36 inches from the edge of the eave. It's 36 here. There's, I assume that these must be skylights. Chimney right here that you can see on there. So the concern that the fire department has is this 36-inch width here.
So
You know, we don't have a, so this must be a flat roof. Is it? Yeah, it says EPDM, which is rubber. So
it's a
that must
flat
be a
roof.
flat roof. So
Oh.
these are 17, they're pitched at a 17-degree pitch on
That
top of the
explains
roof.
that picture.
Yeah. And again, this is looking at chimney here. This is the ridge line of the house. There's another side of this on the other side, which you'll see up here.
So it says here, roof mounted systems on flat roofs that are visible from the nearest edge of the front right of way shall not be more than 5 feet above the finished roof and are exempt from any rooftop equipment or mechanical system screening. So it can't be above 5 feet from the flat roof. And do they say in there how tall this is going to be?
You take a look. They just give us the pitch.
Yeah.
I'm sure these are,
That's the roof.
it says not to scale, so there, you couldn't scale this. So you got to take a flat roof. I don't know how long these panels are. You'd have to do the geometry and, flat roof.
You're not gonna be more than 2 foot.
Well,
3
Right.
foot.
They're probably not going to be more than 2 foot. I would agree
Right.
with Carter that they won't be, it wouldn't,
Well, but just like coverage calculations, we shouldn't have to do the math, they should.
oh, I agree. So I don't know what you guys want to do.
I would suggest that they have their installers come here and explain what they want to do. And we can ask them the specific questions as they relate to the ordinance.
What's the maximum again that it can stick up from the roof?
I'm sorry, what?
What's the maximum height? It
5
can-
feet.
So it's going to be less than 5 feet with that
Well, I hope
17-degree angle. Yeah.
What did you say about
Yeah.
that?
To come here and
Yeah.
tell us what they want to do. That's what I think.
To just a note on the shutdown, right? So the system has something called a rapid shutdown function. It's on the side of the building, and it's to reduce shock hazard for emergency responders. So I would hope that that's kind of labeled accordingly, and you'd have some there it is there. You see it on the wall there. Yeah. So it's a panel on the wall that they would shut down in the event of a fire or emergency. So that would be your safety protection.
Michigan's require that. No. You have to have the.
I'm assuming it's a red button. You come up, punch it. And it's,
You'd think it'd be labeled, properly, right? Emergency.
well,
shutdown,
that
yeah.
was the other thing that I think that we should suggest that be added to our ordinance. And obviously we can't put it in here, but if your home is constructed with engineered materials, meaning either floor roof trusses or roof trusses and engineered lumber, which are TJIs, which is, looks like a steel beam, but it's wood. We now have a red sticker that goes by your electric meter so that the fire department knows that.
Right.
Historically, with what's called legacy construction, we had anywhere from 40 to 48 minutes from when a fire would start to when we would become the fire department, I should say. It's untenable at that point in time. With engineered material, that's down to 6 minutes.
Mm.
So, we would probably want to do the same thing here. We've only fought one fire in my tenure of 42 years on the fire department that had solar panels on it. We didn't know they had it on there. And we couldn't figure out why we couldn't get water through the roof. Because the fire was completely, it burned everything up, but we found out later. So, obviously, I don't know that the town is prepared for permitting solar stuff yet, just because we kind of let it go after Ken did the research, and he was certainly qualified to do that with his background. But if Bob, what you're saying is you think that we should have them present to us or have somebody here that can give us information. Is everybody okay with that?
Yeah.
All right.
And Larry, just to add, as you guys contemplate for the future, I politely disagree that you get to put conditions on permits. So even though the ordinance has certain requirements, if something isn't clear, obviously you can't change materially what the requirements are and add and change the ordinance, but things like that, particularly if it isn't clear from their plan. So just, again, something to think about in the future. And also, as you said, we haven't had many of these come through, maybe one, right? But it's better than not having any, right? Because the state code is pretty minimal, and the the intent behind that is to be the least intrusive as possible to encourage solar, right? So definitely yet another one as we go to the comprehensive plan, suggestions to the APC, this is yet another one that, we should pick up and improve if we can.
Okay. Next up is 3018 Northmore, and that's actually Neil's project. So
It is, yeah.
Neil will have to recuse himself, but I think we'll hit Neil up and have him explain what he wants to do. I can bring it up here on the,
Got a permit number?
it is number 279.
Want me to stand up over here?
No, you can sit down.
All right, so our backyard to our property has an existing stone flag patio, and it's pretty messy. The sand's coming up between the joints, and it's been on our list for a long time to do a nicer job of that. So what we're proposing is a new floating deck, I think is the term. It's ground bearing. It's a total of 8.5 inches high, and it's going to fill that space between the house and the shed. The shed was subject to a variance several years ago when we put that in, and the deck would be made per recommended guidelines with a product called Tough Block. I'm not sure if you're familiar with it, but because it's a very low rise deck, there's a plastic block made by a company called Tough Block, and you lay your 2x6s in there. There's a cross section of it. Yeah, spin that around. So yeah, the hatching is the Tough Block. The 2x6 sits within that, and then on top we've got some 1-inch boards, so a total height of 8.5 inches. The 2x6s would be on 16-inch centers per guidelines, and the Tough Blocks would be spaced per their guidelines as well. It's approximately 5 to 6 feet spacing. So that's the plan.
And do we have a site plan with the deck on it?
It's
Yeah, that's
here.
it there.
What I would ask, just like we did previously, if you would note on here, Neil,
Mhm.
where what's your distance to your lot line from this side of the deck? Your setbacks are 10 feet.
That's right. Yeah. So that shed is 10 by 16.
Right. So here, you have it, but if you would, just for purposes of, we're all the way across the board with, as we do with everybody else.
Mhm.
So if the building commission decides to approve it,
Yeah.
it would be subject to receiving your site plan. Here, Bob, is the
Yeah.
full site plan.
Yeah.
Yeah, I understand.
Then-
Just show the
right,
10
you
foot
would-
setback line.
Yeah, just, you'd have to put the dimensions from the setback to the deck here.
Yep.
Setback to the deck here, and then
Yeah.
it's obvious, well, here, I think it's actually listed on here.
Just zoom in on that one. That's the existing patio.
Yeah, you can give us what that,
Yep. Yeah.
what that setback
do
is
that.
to the patio. I mean, it's probably 100.
It's
about
about 12 foot to the property line. The interesting thing
Right.
is that retaining wall is in our property line by 1 foot. It's already over the line. That shed is 18 inches off the retaining wall just for access. So yeah, I think you confidently say we're at least 12 feet. Off the- I think it might.
I would move to approve with the condition that we get an updated site plan that shows the setbacks.
Second.
There's a motion to approve by Joy, seconded by Bob. Any other discussion? All those in favor, aye.
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 Pose same sign.
And
And
would
you-
that be the same, the permit won't be issued until we get.
That's correct. But Neil, you'd have to stay. You can't take off. Next up is permit number 284, 1806 Lakeshore Drive. It's a remove and replace 5 sets of sliding doors that are existing in the home. They're all on the lakeside. There's no change in footprint.
Move to approve.
I have to recuse
Larry has
myself,
to
so
recuse himself.
I'm gonna, so either.
All right,
Joy
does
or-
anybody else want to make a motion to approve?
I'd move to approve.
Second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Back to you, Larry.
Okay. Did we already do this? Yeah, we already did this. We already did 30. We already did 31.
Can we talk about Connie before we go there? Because it's
Oh, you're-
not on our list.
What's that?
Connie is not on our,
Right, that's why I asked when she came in. She just said, you just said you wanted to, do you have something? Oh, yeah, that's, I asked her earlier and she said, no, she just wanted to hear.
okay.
Is 1528 on our agenda?
No, there's no
Oh, okay.
permits here before us.
Okay.
There is, I think, unless you want to talk about it, do you want to talk about it, Connie? 1528? You have to come up and, tell us who you are and. Can you push the button so it's green? Thanks.
Okay, Connie Kusidum, 1530 Lake Shore Drive. I was just came into here. I didn't see it on the agenda about 1528 Lake Shore Drive and where we're at as far as all the plantings, and that's what I was doing. So I didn't know if it was going to be on the agenda because like when I came in, mine wasn't on the agenda. So I didn't know if it accidentally wasn't put on the agenda. So plus I am finding it very educational and interesting being here today.
You're probably the only one.
No, it's really interesting. So I don't know if you can give me any comments back or if it's something, I don't know where we're at on that.
Well, a couple of things happened since our last meeting. It may have been 2 meetings ago. I don't know. You had come in and you had a neighbor with you or a friend with you. And we issued a stop work order based on the
Sand
ordinance,
mining.
sand mining ordinance, sand being moved, that was the dune was being disturbed. And it was discussed that it was being disturbed around the gazebo. So I don't know if Carter went there. I went there on that next Monday and took pictures and I sent it out to everybody. There was no sand mining being done and there was actually no disturbance of the dune. I can actually pull them up here, I think.
I can send you photos of what it looked like around the gazebo if you'd like me to.
Say that again?
I can send you photos to show you
Yeah,
that.
I'll bring the picture up of
Okay.
when I was there, what we found, what I had. At least I think I can. Hold on, I have to go to. This is the email that we sent out on 9/16. I think our meeting was probably, I don't know what, 3 days prior to that. I'll look and see.
It was like the 8th.
Our meeting was on 9/12. I sent this out on 9/16. Let's go to sent. I can't pull the pictures up on this is the copy that I sent, but I can pull them up under send, I think. 9/16.
Great. Mine goes right to there. That'd be nice.
If not,
6 pictures.
because I think it's the north.
That's how 6 pictures.
And then I just. Again, if we could go and hit select view, and one of the choices would be open permit need commission review. So we could forget like some new siding, stuff like that.
How would that decipher from open permits?
Well, because like we.
I'm gonna have to look on my computer and send pictures out. But basically what I saw when I was there is there was no sand mining going on. There was no disturbance of the dune
Guess you'd have to.
and no,
Yeah, I'm just wondering how.
I think what was still outstanding was the view protection issue.
Yeah, like, I said, just do what they sound like.
did you?
Was on the agenda, didn't appear, I'm not sure what happened in that.
If you will allow me, can I send you a couple photos? So when you find yours that you took, Larry, that you can see what it looked like, because that sand actually had come around that gazebo. It was in the front. They removed all that. And if you look where their gazebo is at and where our path begins, we were not allowed to touch any of our sand and move it. They were actually out there shoveling and with their machine behind there. I need to take a few moments when I get home to find those photos, and I can go ahead and forward it to you
Did you
so
email
you guys can see.
Yeah, I can text. I can't bring them up.
Yeah, because I've got a great side view of what it looks like before it looks like now. It was removed. They put stones back there and that. So there's no reason for me to create any issues for my neighbors. I don't like this. I don't want to be in this position.
Hold on,
But
I'm gonna-
considering that many wanted to move sand and couldn't touch it, that was why I opened my mouth. And I only want what everybody else who lives on Lakeshore Drive has, that westward view. And I think there's a lot of misinformation being said to all of you. I've lived there since 1983. I can tell you that the last 3 owners prior to this one, well, after Marilyn Millett, who she was the one that put the fence, she was the one that put the gazebo up. Jennifer, who bought it, and then Jim that bought it. Their biggest goal was to get rid of all the plantings there so they had a great view. Okay, so what now has occurred in that yard, everything is new plantings. And I have pictures, not because I took of my neighbor's yards, but I have pictures of the great sunsets that I used to have. I have to contend with that gazebo for the rest of our lives until the lake comes up and takes it. But I don't think I should have to contend with plantings. And if you go now and look, all those evergreens planted on that east side, they're all growing. And that. So this is, when it was said that they, through the emails that I had read, when it said that everything was planted to the south, when that
That's-
big truck came with the
got
2
them. I
beds,
sent them to myself.
everything was planted to the north. The majority of that stuff was all planted to the north. So it's like it's going to be a forest back there. And my concern is
Yeah.
how do you control when those things get to the height that tall?
What kind of evergreens do they?
What, if-
Like regular evergreen?
there's a couple evergreens that they have. There's a lot of bushes.
It looked like arborvitaes that they just cut the top off of.
Yeah.
Along the fence.
Along the fence.
I'm on a tree board, they're not gonna grow. I watched the guy behind me put more evergreens in and all of them died. I can't believe they would put evergreens on the.
All right, here, I just resent myself the pictures. These are I'm going to go through them one by one. I have more, but this is the ones that show the property. So I'm standing, obviously, this is the gazebo on my right, which would be west. This is Connie's house. This is 1528. So this area was what they disturbed. This was prior to this digging. This was sod. I think there was some paving brick or whatever there. So this is where the dune starts, right here. And that has not been disturbed here. You can see these are footprints. They're my footprints, but there's a lot of people's footprints. So there was no sand mining done around the gazebo. Right. So I have the, right. So, but we issued a stop work order based on sand, that they were mining sand and removing sand from the dune. And the reason I went down there was because I wanted to make sure that there was not sand mining going on. And it's obvious to me in this picture that there was no sand mining going on. They didn't disturb the dune. I think I have one somewhere. So as Joy said, so this is just kind of standing a little bit in front of the gazebo. This is the area that the patio was in, and the grass, and I think there was a brick walkway. I can show you pictures. I'll go on Beacon and show you pictures that go through the years. So then the question is whether or not these plantings, this is standing back by the gazebo. This is a fence behind here. And I don't know what these trees are. There are, yeah, there's evergreens back here. Yeah. And then this is the other side. This is facing, or this is the west property line. So these are the evergreens that were planted. These are planted on the same,
Was that?
those
gazebo
evergreens.
built with a permit?
Pardon me?
Was that gazebo built with a permit?
No, it was not built with a permit.
How long ago was that? Do we know?
Oh, we don't even know, Bob. I mean, I go back. Yeah, I'll show you in a minute. I just want to make sure that everybody sees this, and then I'll go on to the next spot. So again, these evergreens are on the east side or west side of the property. These bushes are, I don't know what they are. They're planted new. So is this evergreen or pine here. These are the evergreens that are planted along the east side, which are the same as these had not been planted yet.
Well, the trees were, the one tree was planted, then it was lifted, and see this? All this one back here is all new, because if you see some of the photos, eventually as these grow, it'll be black.
Larry, sorry to interrupt. This is Chris. We need to be able to hear what she's saying and also be able to see what she's referring to.
Okay. What she was saying, Chris, is, let me see. I don't know if I can zoom this up. I'm not the best at this. I don't know why I can't. That these bushes that are on the side of the house are growing taller than,
those are all new.
well, you can see that they're tall. I don't know because I didn't come up and take pictures of those. They appeared to me to be behind this house on the west side. They're obviously in front of Connie's house on the east side, but the house, if they're even with the house, the house blocks the view, the bushes don't. So then the question is, what Joy was talking about is, are these, whatever bushes they are they in violation of the view protection ordinance? So let's go to.
Appears to me that view protection only applies to structures. I just
No.
reviewed it and I don't see anything about plants. Did somebody know otherwise?
It says on the view protection ordinance, it says no other structures, including fences, boathouses, cabanas, and other structures and landscaping plants, except for those already in existence, shall be built or planted as to block the view of the surface water features of any dwelling located on the adjacent lot.
What section is that?
This is the view. Let me see what it is. I'm sorry. It is, this one is number 2, title 15, I think, chapter 154, section 154.060.
Right, and then what section of that is it letter or
That
number?
one is it 3? Is that what that is?
Yeah, 3 Roman numeral 4.
3 Roman numeral 4.
So there were hardly any plants planted back there because everybody had taken them out because they all wanted the view. I think partially too because their view is obstructed. I don't know if it is. I haven't been on the deck for a long time. I think it is with their gazebo being there. So that westward view is a view that everybody wants. That's all I want is westward view. And I sit so much lower than them.
Well, and let me,
All right.
have we made all the points with regard to what the objections are?
Yeah, I think so. I just want to make sure that everybody understands what was there. I want to clear up, the stop work order was issued specifically for mining sand. And
Well,
I
and,
went down-
and that's what I want to get to, Larry, is this is a situation, and I just want to talk procedure, and then I'll be quiet. But
Okay,
in this instance, right, a stop work order was issued on one side's word, and being sensitive to the dune until you guys had the opportunity to investigate, but not ideal for us, right? But you guys corrected that. And so the proper way two ways. When there's a permit that's pending, whoever might want to remonstrate or speak against it is welcome to come. After that, they're welcome to challenge or appeal if they don't like the decision of the granting of the permit. Subsequently, some of these things become civil, and I never take those words lightly to tell somebody, sorry, the town can't do anything about it. You have to sue and go get attorneys. I'm not being smug about that, but there's a lot of different wheels turning here. So we want to make sure that we take that information, we have that, and we make sure that there's compliance and that they continue to comply. Because while they may or may not comply now, or they might not comply in the future, right, if some of that stuff grows. So I just want to make sure that we're getting the information, and then no matter what, it seems to me that the building commissioner through Carter and or Larry, and then bringing back information is the best way to go about, addressing the concerns voiced here, as well as rightfully so, the concerns of the homeowner.
thanks, Chris. So what I want to make sure everybody understands, just at the building commission level, we issued a stop work order because we heard that there was sand mining being done and the dune was being disturbed. The picture that I just showed you, I was standing, this is the property. I was standing right here. Can you see my mouse? I was standing there. It was very obvious to me that there was no disturbance of the dune. There was no disturbance of sand around the greenhouse. What was disturbed was this entire area that is grass here. That grass was removed. This is pavers, and those pavers were removed. And that was part of the permit that we approved because they were taking these pavers out and installing not those pavers, but another paver patio here, which met the requirements, which is why the permit was issued. So I know that people have asked, when was the gazebo installed? I want everybody to know, we did the research on this. That gazebo was installed a long, long time ago. Let's get the dates here. We only have pictures back to 2007 that we can look at. That's not the right house. Okay, so this is from 2007. It shows the gazebo. The gazebo was built before 2007, this without a permit. This patio was put in before 2007. So, I mean, I can show you progressive pictures, but in 2007, all of this was here. I'll go to the current picture.
But there's no plantings.
I can't zoom up enough to tell. I don't know if the fence is there. And yeah, the fence is here. See the fence here, Joy?
Mhm.
And then this is all plantings on the 1528 side of the fence. I don't know if this tree is there. I can spin it and see.
Not there now.
Yeah, I think that tree is gone. The fence, I don't think you can follow it really. So the fence was there was plantings there. So if you go to, let's, I don't know, I'll pick a date, 2021, March. This might be a little clearer. Okay, so this is in the fall, same thing. Gazebo's here, all this is here, the lawn is here. There's this is a tree on the west side of the property. There appears to be something planted here that must be deciduous because the leaves are all gone out of it.
Mhm.
This is in April of this year. Again, this is all here. Grass is here. I can't tell what's in this shadow. It looks like there's a tree growing right here. And I don't know if this is
That's on-
plantings.
That's
or-
on my property, that tree.
or whatever that is there. Over on the east side or west side, you can see the fence here that looks like, or the fence here, I'm sorry, it looks like there's some type of evergreen or some type of bush here. So what I want to make sure, why we lifted the stop work order was because we issued the stop work order for sand mining and there was no sand mining being done. There was no disturbance of any dune or the dune starts right here. You can even see it on the fence line here in what did I say this was? April of 25. So this is still there. This has not been disturbed. You can see it in the picture I took a month ago. So we lifted the stop work order because it was issued based on information that wasn't accurate at the time. So there's no sand mining going on, and we pulled the stop work order so that they could continue on with the landscaping and whatever they were doing here. So that, I want to make sure that that's kind of what we have to do. We pulled the stop work order. So now the question is, what happens with the view protection situation? And, I guess that's,
So do we know when those plants were planted?
they were planted sometime this year.
This
Yes.
year.
Yeah, they were
Yeah.
planted between
May.
April, which is when this picture was done, and today.
So I did find what you were talking about, the section that does talk about landscaping plants. In general, in the town of Long Beach, you do not need a permit to plant anything. However, in the view protection ordinance, it specifically states you can't plant stuff that's going to block your neighbor's view.
Mhm.
So this is apparently in violation
Yes.
of that view protection
I
ordinance.
believe it is.
So I guess my thought is they need a letter saying they need to take those out. And, it's weird though, because how is a citizen, in general, you don't need a permit to plant anything.
Right.
And how are they supposed to know that you need it if it violates the view protection? I mean,
Right.
it seems like it'd be common courtesy, but this is Long Beach.
Yeah.
So I'd like to thank Larry because Larry specifically stated it in his emails to her about the plantings. And she said everything with, I think in the emails, if I'm not mistaken, said it's to the south. Larry said it needs to be to the south. And they went ahead and brought all that stuff down and planted all of it. Well, except for the things that you see. And so all that stuff was put in, even the ones on the side. And I know that is only one of them would end up obstructing the view, but okay. The one final thing I want to say, I didn't come and say anything about the sand mining. What I said was about that sand being removed. And I have a photo here that can show you that that sand was up higher. They did go around the back. They did put all those stones around the back. That was the only thing that I had said, because none of us were allowed to touch out in that area. I understand sand mining is one thing, but we were also all told we couldn't do any of that stuff around there. So, but anyway, back to the plantings. I can send you photos of what it looked like around the gazebo because I have them if you'd like to see it. I can send you photos of what it looked like before they even began planting. I have this beautiful sunset and you can see there's hardly anything in the yard.
I think it's just, Bob, to what you talked about, there's an Asian, a Japanese maple that's planted back there. And, mine is a mini, it's like, this big. Joy has one that's 25 feet tall. And it's just like you said, Bob, it's a matter of picking and choosing what you're going to plant there. And when you say, something along the fence line can't be any taller than 4 feet. And then when they're all delivered and they're all sheared at the top, I guess what that takes, maybe they have a landscaper that will work. You and I are always in our yards, and you know that if you let it go for a year or two, they're going to grow. So I do understand what Connie is saying, that she's hesitant. You're hesitant to start anything with your neighbors, but when you're losing something like the view, I have a view of my neighbors, but I like that view. So I get what you're saying.
I'd like to see the sunsets. I don't want to have them obstructed with the tops of the trees.
I agree with Bob. We have an ordinance that says they can't do it.
Thank you.
I'm not.
Yeah, I would say,
White to me, like, it says we can't do it, we can't do it, if we've been going back and forth with them. It's not gonna be friendly, but we do have the ordinance, and we do know that they were aware.
so Chris, could we write them a letter saying that your bushes are in violation? We'll give you 30 days to remove them. Otherwise, you're going to get a $500 fine for not having a permit for doing it. And the reason I would do that is the ordinance is a little bit confusing in that generally you can plant anything anywhere except in this case. Does that sound reasonable? Chris, can we do that?
Well, first, I don't think it probably is confusing when view protection is in play, but yeah, you have the authority. I guess this is where we get in trouble though. And Larry and I seem to get caught in the middle because we're the face of the communication of it, right? And there are others that we send a 10-day letter to that says you have 10 days to bring your property in conformance, and otherwise, this is a standing order, and otherwise we're going to take action and bill you for it, right? Now, maybe you don't want to be that because there's some give and take here that you want to send. Hey, 30 days is kind of long, but you can vote and do and direct me however you wish.
I thought 30 days.
And Bob, in keeping with your thought, you don't need a permit to plant stuff. And well, even the view protection ordinance, it doesn't say you need a permit to plant. You just can't plant something that's,
Right.
so I want to make sure that we don't do something that we can't do, which is issue a citation for not having a permit for something you don't need a permit for.
Well, and I want to go further so that I understand. Are we saying that the landscaping that exists now interferes with view protection, or we're worried about what it's going to do?
That's a good point, Bob.
It's not.
Hold on a second. Whoever's speaking, I'm not sure if there's someone else piping in here, but we need to be, if they're not in violation now, then I have an issue with sending a letter that says you're in violation, right? Because they've otherwise, now, have they walked into a situation and and I'm taking this if, right? I don't have all the facts,
I am going just based on conversation. If they've planted them and they don't need a permit and they aren't interfering with view protection now, it isn't a problem. However, they can't later claim we didn't know or we planted these and they grew that way, because they are on notice, right? So that's where I want to be clear. I will send whatever, provided, and of course it's my job to make sure you're on solid legal ground, but I want to make sure that we currently don't have interferences as well.
Sure. Again, I'm going to give everybody a little bit of background on what happened over the course of the last several months on this particular property. There were some trees that were planted. When I first became aware of it, there were some, I don't know exactly what they were.
They were arborvitae.
Hold on. They were, I would call them pyramidal arborvitaes. So they were too tall. So we sent a notice to the landscaper and said, you can't do this. So they took those evergreens out. They were planted on the fence line along the east side. So they took those out. And then at some point in time, new evergreens were brought in, and Connie had called, and I don't know if you talked to Honor, I can't even remember exactly how it happened, and said, or texted me, I think, on a Monday morning and said that there was a truck there and that these evergreens were going to be brought down and they were going to be planted and they were going to obstruct Connie's view. So I said to Connie a couple of things, as well as to Honor, and I think I may have sent it to all you guys. I said, well, number one, there is no permit for landscaping, for planting. And number two, that and I called Mark Swistek to find out what the situation here was. We can't issue a citation for something that might happen. The third thing is that nobody knew what was going to happen there. So the landscaper, the designer or whatever, Roxanne, she's on here. And I just want to caution you for a second, Roxanne. You have to identify yourself and talk, and we can get to that in a second. So I sent a note to the landscaper, to Roxanne, and I said, we got a complaint that you're unloading trees and whatever. And I said, we can't stop. There's no permit for that. You can't issue a stop work order for something because there's no permit, and a stop work order is for a permit. So I had checked with Chris about that. So I said to Roxanne, I've tried to make you aware of, you can't plant something that will obstruct the neighbor's view. And Roxanne sent an email back to me and said, I don't know what the name of them are, but can't recall, Roxanne, if you told me they were 40 inches or 4 foot.
They're evergreen yews.
Yeah.
Yews are shrubs. Shrubs are not.
Hold on. Sorry, Roxanne. This is just to make our record. So please introduce yourself and your role in that.
Certainly. My name is Roxanne Peterson, and I'm with Acorn Design Group. We work with the Heitmans in Hinsdale. And once they bought this property, they invited us to redo the landscape. And calling the town, I was told that we had to observe the view protection line. Well, on the plat of survey, it indicated where the view protection line was located. And at that point, any plant specimens could not exceed or be a barrier for the neighboring properties at that point and beyond. So we adhered to that, decided to put in some evergreens, arborvitae, that were 7 feet tall. Well, immediately Connie was on the phone complaining about it. Within 15 minutes, Larry contacted me. Within 15 minutes later, we took them out. We were trying to be good neighbors. We were trying to be responsible contractors. At that point, I sent an email to Larry and said, can we put in evergreen shrubs? Because the homeowner is concerned, since they were denied the fence permit because Connie complained about that. They needed some kind of barrier to protect their children from falling over the side of the wall that's on the property line, which is a hazard. They have young children. They have young cousins that live in Long Beach and Michigan City, and they don't want them out there kicking a soccer ball and falling over the side into Connie's yard. So Connie has persisted at complaining at the very thing she commits herself. She has on her eastern side 15-foot evergreens and blocks her neighbor's view protection line by 50 feet. Yet she's complaining about shrubs on Heitman's property. These are shrubs. They're not trees. And that Japanese maple is a dwarf Japanese maple, and it's not planted, it's above ground. Because we don't know what to do. Every time we turn around, we've got this woman outside taking pictures of us.
Okay, so
Excuse me.
I want to, we probably didn't mention this, but the difference, and you can probably see if I can bring my pictures back up, there's a significant difference in grade. This, and you can kind of see Connie's house, which is right here. There's a concrete wall that runs along here, and that wall may be 4 foot, 5 foot high on Connie's property. This house, the grade is higher. So the fence that was built, not by the current owners, that was built without a permit some years ago, was put up here probably for that very same reason, to keep people from falling over on that wall, because it's a significant drop off into Connie's yard. These two homes here are about at the same grade. So I mean, I guess I'm not sure what the avenue, where we're headed with this. So I think it's a question of what could be in violation of the view protection ordinance. And I don't know that I think we have to have more facts from Roxanne telling us this is what, we know that the evergreens are 4 foot evergreens. I don't know if they don't grow any far taller than 4 foot. I'm not an arborist.
Well, may I speak, please? This is Roxanne again. I have the same yews in my front yard that are 20 years old, and they're kept at 3 feet, and they grow very slowly. And the Heitmans are happy. They'll sign an affidavit that they will never go beyond 4 feet tall. They just want a barrier for safety for their children.
Okay, thanks, Roxanne. So that's what we have to decide. And then we have to look at those bushes. We'll have to, I don't know what those bushes are. You saw in my picture that on the east side. So I think it might be prudent for us, or I'm going to throw out for discussion purpose, that we find out what the stuff is and then find out where it's going to grow. I think to sit and go back and forth and back, we're not getting anything done here. I wanted to make sure that everybody understood that we pulled the stop work order because what was purported being done was not being done. And I am 100% sure of that from being down there. And you can tell by, again, looking at pictures from 2007 to 2025. This sand, which was done in picture is up on the screen. This sand is in the same position now as it is in this picture. This area is not sand, that's pavers, and that's been removed. This is grass, and that's been removed. So I would suggest that we get a hold of, Roxanne's on here, but I can get with Roxanne this week and get information on what those plants are, and she can tell us whatever they are, how they grow, and then we'll have to approach it from there. I don't know if you guys want.
Well, may I speak also? May I speak again? I think it's rich that.
Roxanne, hold on. You guys want to talk about that, or?
Is 4 feet tall going to do the trick?
It's lower than the fence, but I
It's
don't.
lower than the fence, which is existing now.
That is correct.
2 feet, it's at least 2 feet lower. Here, I'll show you.
Well, if it's lower, I guess those bushes shouldn't be allowed to get any higher than the fence then, right?
If you look, some of the bushes are
Hold on,
already
Connie.
higher than.
They already
I'm going
are.
to stop everybody.
Yeah, they can be.
It's 3:30. We've been on this for probably 45 minutes. And I'm personally not going to allow this to get into a he said, she said. We have to make a decision and then we're going to move forward. I want to stop this bantering back and forth.
I would make a motion that we get a list of what the plants are. and we can go from there and determine how tall they can get. They shouldn't get any taller than the fence.
Right. So here, Bob, if you look at the picture up on the screen, these are the evergreens, here's the fence. But these are the bushes that I think I need to get some information from Roxanne and as to what they are, how tall they'll grow. And you know, they cannot inhibit the view from either the east property owner or the west property owner.
I agree.
Okay. Is there a second to Joy's motion?
I'll second it.
Bob? Joy made a motion. Bob, any discussion? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay. We'll get next week, I'll get together with Roxanne and then I'll talk to Connie. And if we need to, Carter and I can go out and take some pictures and we'll figure out what's going on. Everybody okay with that?
Yes.
Is there anybody left on Zoom? Tom, are you still on? Any commissioner comments?
One, I mentioned to you earlier, we got a complaint about some bollards, I'm not sure what the word is. And apparently they're retracting ones that go down into the ground, installed at 1626 Lakeshore Drive without a permit. And it looks like they're probably on the right of way.
Darlene, look at the FaceTime video.
That was 1628.
Hold on.
I'm in a meeting. I'll talk to you later. She's gonna call back. I know she will.
Did everybody understand that? The proper.
Sorry, guys. I'm in a meeting. I'll call you later. It's kind of hard to hear. Sorry.
That's all right. So are Joy and I.
I'm just gonna try and shut this off if I can. Shut them both off.
So there were some bollards installed. We got a complaint on the website or on our portal. And I have talked to the person that lodged the complaint. And I explained that we're going to have to talk to the owners and find out. There was a permit that we gave them and the bollards were not on the permit. So I haven't measured it, but Carter and I are going to have to go down there and figure out where they are. We're going to talk to the owners and we'll report back to you guys of what's going on. If Bob can get off the phone.
Yeah, really. One other thing is I noticed on our coverage calculations, it talks about pervious and impervious. Maybe we should change that form that we give them because it really shouldn't talk about pervious and impervious.
That's right. And I'm glad you brought that up. Honor, are you going to make a note about that on the coverage? Yeah, it says impervious coverage. And actually our coverage rules are for anything, whether it's whether it can percolate, water can percolate or it cannot. So we want to change that, basically strike that impervious.
Get rid of the impervious part.
Yes.
Anything about
It's just really just deleting one word.
Okay.
In keeping with that, we have street cut permit application and land disturbance applications that are not online. And we want to put them online. One was the street cut that we modified. And I'm going to get with, Honor and I are going to get with Chris and have him take one last look at it. Then we'll send it to you guys and see if it meets with your approval. And if it does, we'll just post it online. The other one is the land disturbance, and that's pretty simple. Any other commission comments?
Will
I'm
we?
done.
Let me talk to her.
Yeah, really.
I'm
Any
just
other?
curious, ultimately, is there a way to put porta potty permits on
Sure.
iWorks?
Honor is really the most familiar with, I think what we have to do, we have a limit in our annual fee as to how many, I think they call it letters or something we can have on. But I think we still have enough that we pay for that we can add some. And then we could put the porta potty permit in. Actually, I think that we have a dumpster permit now, which we really haven't put on there. So we can do that too. So we'll have to find that out. We'll have to put a porta potty permit together and then we can do a dumpster.
That on there. No, I helped with the ordinance, but I don't.
Any other commission comments? Any public comments? Anybody on Zoom? No.
Just kidding.
Okay. Being none, entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Bob, Joy, all those in favor?
Aye.
All the same sign. Okay, see you next month.